Hello and hi, welcome. Happy Labor Day. It is a holiday here. It is a holiday in the US, and from wherever you are joining us, this is transition time, right? This is our time to get ready to go back to school and so on. And so I thought I'd pop in today. We are going to start going live. I am going to start going live um, every week at this time because there's just so much to share and so much that's going on. And I'm hoping that some of these videos will be inspirational to you or give you a chance to ask questions and think about some of the mindset stuff that's going on when you're a service based business owner. So let's just get started. Let's kick it off. Today, I thought it would be appropriate to start with I was just reflecting a little bit on my own journey to becoming a service based business owner, becoming a freelancer. And I wanted to share some of the big things that kind of I've learned over my own journey over the last 20 years. And hopefully, some of them are going to be useful to you and will resonate with you as you're on your own journey as well. So, first of all, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background. I went out on my own officially as a freelancer in right before my first child was born, like literally a month before my first child was born. And it was a lot. And I think timing is super important, but also timing is not super important. I think a lot of people kind of get stuck in whether it's the perfect time or whether they should have something else in place. I had nothing in place that should be in place when I got started. And yet it's been the most amazing journey. Were there bumps along the road? Absolutely. And I'm happy to share those with you. But I think the really important thing that I have developed is my mindset and my ability to work through some of these bumps as they come up. So I've got kind of like five sort of key lessons that came out of my journey, and I thought maybe as I share, the way that things went for me, I can highlight some of those big lessons. I started out coming out of the last job that I actually had back in like 20 no, I don't even know that it was 2000 yet. But uh, for me, it was like just never a question whether I was going to be on my own. It was more a question of when and how. And so when the opportunity sort of presented itself, I just kind of dove in. And I had been running a business for a while, and instead of starting up something new, well, we kind of had something going on the side. I just wanted to go out and be on my own for a while. And this was confronting because I had sold as part of a business before and I had sold to big corporate clients. And now I was going to be on my own and I was going to sell individually to individual clients. And that became a totally different ball game, right? That became something, new for me. And I didn't have this established network of small business owners. I had always worked in and sold into corporate, even though I was in a small business. So this was like starting from scratch, totally brand new. And what I know for sure and have learned over my years is that I didn't have to have it all figured out when I started. What I had to be able to do was take consistent action, just keep going. And so that's what I did. I just started doing things. It wasn't very certain. It was messy. It was imperfect. And it always is going to be, right? And so I just went out and I just started listening a lot. I wanted to be in the online business space. I had weirdly a university certificate from in online marketing. Had lots of other degrees too, but I had gotten really interested in digital marketing. And this was back in like 1998 that I got my certificate. And so I just stepped in the first place that I had an inroad into the online business space. Whatever it is that you're trying to get into, just find that first step in. Everybody wants it to be perfect. Everybody wants it to be like exactly the right thing, but you just need your first step. And so I actually took a program. I enrolled in a program for online business owners. And in that program, I learned a lot, but I also just made lots of connections and I made lots of relationships inside of that program. And it naturally gave me the ability to start having conversations and sort of demonstrate my expertise. And that was my first inroad into finding clients and realizing that I just needed to build relationships. I needed to build relationships with people who were already there, and I needed to build relationships with people who were getting there. And so that huge first step is just so important. Everybody's looking for the right thing, the right way to do it. I'm not going to do anything until I have the right answer. There is no right answer. There will never be a right answer. I just like found the first inroad in, and I just listened to all of my intuition, and I just followed my opportunities, I guess. And that got me in and just got me to start building relationships. And then they just started kind of going out from there. So, really, no matter how imperfect you feel or how messy it feels, you just have to keep moving forward. And that's what I did. I just kept moving forward. And eventually, I built relationships with all sorts of different people and people who were connected to the people that I was in the program with, people that I had become aware of as through the work in this program. And that just started the tentacles out. So the continual motion is so important. And the continual movement forward is so important. You have to be so curious about all the people that are out there. And that's what I did. I just started following one connection to another connection to another connection. Everybody wants it to be like a linear path and all laid out for them, but it's just not how it works. It is just like every day you're going to have another new connection or another opportunity or another, if you're paying attention and you're watching. And it all just starts to build like that. It does not build in a straight line. So don't wait for everything to be totally clear and laid out for you. You just have to start. You just have to start doing things, and eventually it becomes clearer and clearer and clearer to you. Um, there's a second lesson that I would say, and that's that freedom is real, but it's earned. And it took me a while after I got out of working in a job. It took me a while to accept and also embrace the fact that I was now in charge of my own time and that I was now going to be the one who makes decisions about my own time. And I would have this guilt and this shame about if I took a couple of hours during the day to go for a walk or to go have coffee with a friend. And eventually I realized that there's no business police who are out there and who are, telling me that I have to do something and I have to be available. Like, honestly, all the people that you're working with are busy. They're busy. And as long as you are committing or doing what you committed to, then that's all they care about. Right. So it takes a little while to get into that alignment with what it looks like, making decisions about your time, knowing how you're going to have control over your income and how you manage your energy and how you get everything in alignment. But it also comes from having discipline, being resilient, and going through all of the mindset shifts that you need in order to get there. And so I would say, like, the first 2 or 3 years of my business was all about figuring out what I want and how I want work to feel, and also giving myself permission to have that, right? Where nobody's my boss, nobody is telling me that. And it's actually really confronting to go through that. So I would say that you have to earn that freedom by putting in the work to be able to get you there. But when you are not a victim of your business and you are not a victim of someone else's business. So when your clients have demands or your clients have requirements and they're not in alignment with what you want to build, you're allowed to put your boundaries there. You're allowed to say, these are the hours I work, this is how I work, et cetera, et cetera. So you get to earn your freedom, but you earn it from yourself. And you earn it from yourself by ensuring that you have the mindset wrapped up, that you understand your requirements, that you understand what you want and what your business looks like and the constraints that you're in. But once you're there, I could never imagine not having the freedom that I have, which doesn't mean that I have all this spare time. What it means is I get to decide. And that's the huge shift, because people who think that they're building a freedom business, that they think that what they have to move towards is having lots of time off in the 4-hour work week, right? Actually, what freedom is the ability to choose, and decide how you're going to work, when you're going to work. I work a lot. Like, I work probably more hours than I did in a job, but I love it. I love what I do. I've chosen what I do. I've built the skills around what I do. And so I would say, like, as I was developing as a business owner, um, I built a coaching practice, and then I started to move into other types of work. And now I have, 5 different businesses, but it all is an evolution, and it's all an evolution in figuring out what you want freedom to look like for you. So freedom for me is not spare time, although that would be nice sometimes. Freedom for me is being able to choose. Now, the third lesson I would say is that I built all of this by learning what I'm really good at. A lot of people will start by trying to offer services that they think other people want. And that's the deciding factor for them, is how many people want this service. Well, if I did that and I tried to build my business around what other people want, I'd have a pretty miserable business. Like, you don't have to be everything to everybody, and you also don't have to be a certain thing to everyone. I started out coaching. I didn't really love it. Like, it really depends on how you define coaching. But for me, the strategy was more what I excelled at. And over time, and you have to give yourself the time to get here and to be able to have lots of experiments and figure this stuff out. But you have to figure out what your strengths are and what you like. And that's going to help you grow. And it does take some time. So when you're first starting out, don't be afraid to be a beginner, and don't be afraid to try a whole bunch of different things. It probably took me 10 years to get to the place where I was like, okay, I really know where my strengths are. I really know where I'm good. And I really know what I don't want to do and where I don't do as well. And so my business has eventually, landed there. But you're not going to go into that right away. And I've moved into, very, very intentionally creating a business around, well, many businesses around specifically what I do well. So you have to own those strengths. And just because you think somebody wants something else, don't offer it just because somebody else wants it. Because if it's not your strength, or if it's not, you're just going to be unhappy, and you're not going to feel like you are set up to succeed. And that's going to help you grow with a lot more ease and confidence. And I'll tell you, I have flip-flopped around so many times. Like, I have a technical background. And so, I thought for a while there, I'll just offer technical services and set up. But my brain is really a strategic brain, and it doesn't do well unless I have the full picture and I'm building the full picture. So I'm just one of those people who can, work all the way up here and then go all the way down to the ground and figure out what it's going to take to build it. So that's my superpower, and that's what I'm really good at. But I don't want to be stuck down in the details and doing people's technical work for them. No, I'd like to build it once I have created the vision and then hand it off to somebody. But it took me a long time of experiments to do that. So just, if you're just starting out, just be so open and free to experimentation and to trying things. And eventually you're going to get to this place where you're in this really powerful work. But please, allow yourself to evolve. And you're always evolving. Like, even now I'm evolving, right? But I think it required me to be conscious of that, and to be able to watch for it. The third or the fourth lesson, I don't know, we're on 4, is yes, people will pay you real money for what you do. And one of the big roadblocks that we get to, and one of the reasons that I wasn't pursuing certain things that I thought would be really great, was because I kept saying, oh, there's someone else who does that already. There are so many clients out there in the world for you. So many different people who can work with you and consume your services. There's enough for everybody. And so I had to get to that belief that somebody will be able to pay me money for what I am doing. When you realize that your skills are valuable, that's a huge game changer. And when people go into building a service-based business, they're so scared of selling because they think that it's all about convincing somebody to spend money. Those clients are sitting in front of you because they want to spend the money to get the help that they need. They are ready to buy. And then it comes down to you showing up as the person that's going to feel really good for them. And it's not always going to be fit. I've had lots of sales calls where I'm like, hmm, and they're probably like, and we go our separate ways. That's fine. You're not a fit for everybody, and they're not a fit for you. But believing that you have something valuable to offer is such a huge mindset fix that just elevates you from the difficulty that you have with selling to being able to sell, and understanding that you're solving someone's problem. Like, they want to pay you money to solve their problem. They want to give you money. And we get into this mindset that selling is just about proving you're better than another competitor, but that's not it. Selling is about connection, and it's about helping somebody through a moment in that sales call that is going to translate into a further experience. So understanding and believing that people are going to pay you for the value that you can offer them. Now, the final thing I will say, the final lesson that I learned that was so important for me, was that I don't have to do this alone. And I had a big, I don't know, I had a big narrative in my head that I'm a lone wolf. I do everything on my own and never look for help. That's just a crazy narrative that I've had for a very long time. Once I decided I was going to do this in community with others, everything changed. Not only the normalization and not only the validation, but also just the feeling like you're not alone, and that you've got this whole other, and I'm a verbal processor. Like, I like to talk through things with people. So having that community of others who are doing the same thing or who are involved in the same thing, I can't tell you how many, groups I've joined and communities I've been part of and programs that I've been part of, where I still to this day have lifelong, peers and friends that not only were there to support me, but are amazing referrals for me and amazing network connections that bring people to me on an ongoing basis. So remember that you're not alone, that you don't have to do this alone, and you can get into formal, informal, whatever types of partnerships out there and collaborations to help you grow your audience, to help you find new clients. Your relationships are by far the most valuable asset you have inside your business. And when your relationships, whether they're peers or potential clients or partners or whatever they are, that's what's going to move you forward. I can't tell you how important partnership and collaboration has been in getting me to where I am now. But, it took a really long time for me to realize that. And I wish that I had figured it out sooner. So 5 lessons. Let's recap what they are. You don't have to have it figured out before you get started. Freedom is real, but it's earned. I built this by leaning into what I'm actually good at. So that journey is about figuring out what it is that is really powerful for you. People will pay you real money for what you do. This imposter syndrome is really real, right? People get into this. I can remember feeling just defeated sometimes, just looking around saying, well, there's so many other people that do what I do. Yeah, on paper, but they're not me and I'm not them. And my clients are not connecting with them in the same way that they're going to connect with me. So put all the competition and imposter stuff aside. You have to lean into building what you are truly good at. And then you don't have to do this alone. This is why we've built a community of 800 VAs and freelancers who are all together in the same place. I just had a message from one of our community members this morning, and it just actually brought me to tears. We've focused so hard on creating a community of support and peers and resources that just is so inclusive and is so active and so supportive of all the folks who are going through. And that's what we consistently hear day in and day out about how wonderful it is to be part of this community. So that's been our big mission, is to keep people supported and keep them moving forward. And so it was really lovely for me to hear that today, that this has been such an incredible experience for, our members. Because that's what keeps you going, right? Because it's isolating. It's so easy for us to get into this I'm the only one mindset when we're entrepreneurs and when we're service-based business owners, that just think like, I must just suck, right? I'm doing this by myself and nobody understands, nobody around me, and everybody thinks I'm crazy for doing this. Get into a community of people who don't think you're crazy, who are just, curious about what you're doing, who are thoughtful. Think about all the people that are out there in a community and who all have different connections. Like, that is gold. That is such gold for you. So stay supported. The three things that we talk about in our community in terms of the pillars of success: take consistent action. No, get committed, first of all, decide you're going to do it, take consistent action, and stay supported. And I would say if we can keep those three pillars of success active inside our business, we will be able to progress and move forward. But just be realistic about everything that you're doing. Be curious, look around, watch what's happening. You got to sense what's happening around you, and you've got to take advantage of those opportunities when they present themselves. Because if you're in too stuck a mindset around what things have to be, then you're going to miss the things that are happening over here that are actually great opportunities for you. Okay. I could talk about this forever. We're already way over how long I plan to be. But if you have any questions about any of this stuff, any of these sort of 5 lessons, by all means, reach out to us. We're always available. You can get us at contact@fullybookedva.com. I will put that up on the screen. And Marissa's there. She's our community manager, and she is always, always, always there to help everybody. There we go. To help everybody who is, curious about taking this journey. Super happy to, connect with you guys and send you some encouragement. We're here to help. We believe really strongly in this mission, and, our community is just a whole bunch of really wonderful people. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that came up for you that was sort of a big aha moment. But, this is all about just getting your hands dirty and getting started and persevering and continuing to take action and learning from those actions. And, business is an evolution. It is not a point in time that you get to and then you never evolve. If you do, then I would say you're probably not going to be successful. But if you look at your business as a constant evolution, then it becomes really easy to start maneuvering around and progressing and evolving. Okay. Thanks for being here with me today. Have a happy Labor Day, and look forward to seeing you guys out there again next week at the same time. Bye.